Trigger warning. The following content may include sexual content, excessive or gratuitous violence content, Build-A-Bear Workshop content, death and or dying content, naked Mitch McConnell, and doom scrolling. If you are offended by the aforementioned content, please stop listening and go ahead and give a 5-star review anyway. If you are not offended, you are probably a terrible person and have discovered your people. Welcome, new listener.
You're now tuning in, so get ready for your mindless and sometimes mindful hosts, Josh, Jenn, and their very special guest for the morning. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Mindless Morning Show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Mindless Morning Show. I'm Jenn, and with us we have retro plumber Nick. Josh actually has to be out tonight, so he's having some family stuff he's dealing with. So we, what did he say? He said, sorry to the fans of the beard and the bun. So we have with us Nick. What's up, Nick?
Hello, hello.
Okay. And then, more importantly, we have with us Mr. Marc Jacobson, lawyer who practices film, music, and TV law, the founding chairman of New York State Bar Association section on entertainment, arts, sports law, and so much more. I made him give me like a shortened version. How are you today, Marc?
I'm really good. Nice to be here.
Yeah,
it's incredible to have you here.
Time with us.
It's amazing to have you here. Now, one thing we do like to try to start off with is because we ask listeners, or we tell listeners, like, hey, so-and-so is coming on the show tonight, and we give our listeners kind of a background, and then they send us questions they want us to ask you. So listener questions we usually kind of like to start with. Okay, perfect. So one of our listener questions is, many view the digital age as a polarizing topic due to the ambiguity of the outlook of the future. So what obstacles do you currently see that many aren't identifying for people who may not be familiar with the risks that come with intellectual property rights in the digital age?
Well, that's a complicated
I know, it was loaded.
I was thinking that too. Who asked us that one? That's I was reading that and I'm like, oh shit, this is actually like really complex. Was that Tommy? Yeah. Of course it was Tommy. Oh my God. Okay.
It covers layers and layers. I mean, I can't answer it all because that would be the whole podcast.
Right.
So we'll deal a little bit with some future-looking stuff. So one of the things you didn't mention about my background is that I was the general counsel at Prodigy Communications. Back in the mid-1990s, there were 3 major online services in the U.S. There was CompuServe, which was bought by AOL, one of the other ones, and then there was Prodigy. Prodigy was a joint venture between IBM and Sears, and then a bunch of us bought it from IBM and Sears with some financial backing, and so it was a management-led buyout of the company. And then we took it public, and we had a great time. But during that period, I was one of the principal draftsmen of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, which is one of the things that people hate today. And we also drafted Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, which our friend Donald Trump thinks is used to keep down Republican and conservative thinking.
Is that the one that they were trying to throw into the COVID bill or whatever at the same time, and that's why it held it up?
Yeah, that's part of it. But what those do, the DMCA says, if you know that you have a copyrighted work and you find it online without authorization, you're supposed to send the person who's hosting it a notice that says, hey, take down my work. And if the guy does it, you can't sue him for copyright infringement. But if he doesn't, and someone sends back a counter notice, then you have to sue. So what's happened is that people have sent back counter notices far more than we expected they would do when we drafted the legislation. So the statute has been interpreted badly. It doesn't work right, so it needs to be fixed. Section 230 works great. I filed a brief with the Supreme Court on that, and it was held not to be unconstitutional. So there's that. In terms of intellectual property, it's always the case that the law is late to the party. It always has to play catch up to get to the technology. And we're doing pretty well these days. There's stuff going on now that I'm not crazy about. The NFT craze is bothering me because I don't think people will ever understand it. And I think it's not going to be something that is going to last. I also am upset.
Is that the like meme stock thing?
It's not a stock, but yeah, it's sort of like that. So you created something digitally and you can sell a token which represents the ownership of that thing. But that thing can still be copied infinitely. So it's kind of weird what you own. You actually only own the original, and you may not actually have it in your possession. The token is what indicates that you own it. So it's weird and it doesn't make sense. And to create the Ethereum coins is an energy nightmare. So it's kind of weird, and that kind of stuff isn't helpful. But by and large, I think the internet, which was considered a fad in the early 1990s, has changed virtually our lives. I mean, the ability to get broadband into rural areas is very important so that there's an equal playing field. There's lots and lots of things to consider, and it impacts intellectual property. It impacts property rights, lots and lots of stuff. So the question is, if I may, almost impossible to answer, but I think I gave you some stuff for people to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope you like that, Tommy.
Well, so my question is, what is it that you are currently doing? Like, what's your most recent, I guess, because you do have a list of so much that you've done. What's your most recent
what'd you do today?
No,
What I do today, I'm preparing an expert witness opinion in a music case.
Damn. See, it was a good question, Jen.
Yeah, it was great. So
And this morning I negotiated a deal where to cause a motion picture to be produced that Liam Neeson wants to star in.
Oh wow. That's awesome.
That was good. Those are two things I did today. I went to lunch with my wife.
Hell yeah.
A lot.
So you get to meet a lot of these celebrities as well. No, not a whole lot.
I actually don't. I did Shakira's publishing deal about a number of years ago. It was gigantic.
Yeah.
And I never met her.
She calls me all the time. She's okay. She's nice, I guess. But.
And I just worked with her manager, and that's frequently what it is. I work with the business manager or the personal manager for the talent side. And I have to say, most of my practice is not representing talent; it's representing companies.
Okay,
that's true.
So commercial.
That makes me think of something. So, okay, I know we got a couple more listener questions, but hold on, guys. I was going to ask you, how do you feel really about tech companies like Facebook and Twitter and whatnot? Because it's kind of well known that they use everybody's data for money, and the people don't really get any of that gain. Is that something that you would ever be working towards or dealing with?
Yeah, well, I have a browser which puts up a fence against Facebook, so they can't do that to me.
Yeah.
I try to keep as much as I can private. I don't. For a long time, I was off Facebook, even though I have a business and a personal account, because I really think they behave badly.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's the deal. You give them your data, they give you this stuff for free.
Right.
Don't do it. I know plenty of people that aren't online.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Don't give it away.
So what's your social?
For me, the most frustrating.
I'm sorry.
For me, the most frustrating thing about Facebook and stuff like that is how they stifle your voice if you're trying to promote anything. The algorithm is so messed up that you can't beat it without paying for ads, and then you're paying for bots to click on.
Yes, you do.
How is that legal?
Well, I get the answer to that is you're going into their world.
Yep, it's there.
It's basically, listen, don't go online, and they won't do that to you. I mean, no one makes you go online, and if you do go online, no one makes you go to Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
No, I know. Well, I'm talking about for promotion and getting your name out there. You basically do have to be on almost everything. You know what I mean? To just
no, you don't. What
billboard?
You have to be. You don't.
Yeah.
You just don't. There's no law that makes it happen. If you do, you then have those algorithms, which can be challenging, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. But in a way, I have little sympathy for the people who feel outraged. Don't use it. I know plenty of people who do very well. Never go online, have a good time. That's it.
Oh yeah, I never go on there socially anymore since like this past year. It got so hateful, and it was just like,
oh my gosh,
I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I literally left, and I only put up podcast and YouTube stuff like that we've done or whatever. That's it.
And so you survive.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it.
I found the answer to our promotional issues here. We're gonna have Mark here spread the Mindless Morning Show everywhere for us.
He's not on anything.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing it.
And also, I never go outside. So
Me neither.
Yeah, I do.
Like that
I do
before
for
COVID or no?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Before, yeah.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Jen?
I said, was that like that before COVID or no?
I've been working at home for years, so COVID just kept my wife in the house. That's all. So
Is that a good thing or a
I
bad
know, I was
thing?
just about to say.
Depends on the day, right?
Yeah, it depends.
Oh,
on the
yeah,
day.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're like that, you know.
If I took my wife to work, she would be bored as hell. She would hate it.
She's not in this room, as you can see. Believe me.
This is true. That's true. So I'll jump back to another listener question. So this is, you probably get this one pretty often, but how has like the industry changed over the years? And do you think overall change is positive or negative? I'm guessing they're talking about the internet as far as the industry or the music industry, probably the music industry.
Yeah, probably music. So the answer is, in the music industry, has changed dramatically. A little less so in film. It's significant in film, and it's very significant in television, thanks to all the streamers. But the music industry was the first one to have to figure it out, thanks to Napster.
Oh
yeah, I remember Napster.
Okay.
Right? So and then there were cases. I mean, this is lawyer talk, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Do it. I'm a fake lawyer.
We're all really smart here.
No, I really do know lawyer stuff.
There are doctrines called, there's direct infringement, there's contributory infringement, and there's vicarious infringement. And basically in copyright, you're liable if you actually infringe, whether you know it or not, if you help someone infringe, whether you know it or not, and other ways. But now, after the Grokster case, which came after Napster, and what Grokster did was they gave what I call frequent stealing points. The more songs you stole and put up, the more points you got. And with those points, they would give you TVs and bicycles and all that kind of crap. So there is now, because they did that, which provided an incentive for you to infringe work. Now, if you induce someone to infringe a copyright, you're also liable. So the scope of liability has grown significantly, and there's that. And the internet has also forced people to think about, whether or not going to federal court for ripping off a photograph is worth it. So now there's a small claims court that just got enacted this year. For smaller claims, the recoveries are less, and it's supposedly a simpler process. So on that side, there's that. And also, nobody buys CDs anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, it wasn't that long ago where you had a CD collection, let alone a record collection. I had those.
Yep.
But so, I mean, it changed the music industry dramatically. And not only that, if you think further about it, Spotify, Apple, Deezer, Amazon, they basically have the same product, which is all music.
Yes.
The only difference is your interface and how it works. But what they deliver to you is the same. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of weird. It used to not be that way.
And now the artists are getting like nothing for their songs compared to what they were for CDs and stuff.
Yeah,
merchandise now, man.
Well, the artist's complaint is more a function of the fact that they have typically sold their rights, right? So an artist who enters into an agreement with a record company gives to the record company the exclusive right to market their records, in exchange for which they got a big advance. Mm-hmm. Now the record companies are collecting the money and the artist isn't getting any because they haven't recouped. Admittedly, what they receive is very low per stream and all that stuff, and it should go up. And there are discussions that why is the publishing only 1/5 as valuable as the record? They should be equal. I mean, all of that will get sorted out. Part of the problem there is that the record companies own a major portion of Spotify.
Wow. So do you use one of those streaming music services? And if so, which one?
When I'm on my computer, I tend to use Spotify. Free.
Yeah.
On my cell phone, I use Amazon Music.
Oh, I've used Amazon before.
So I'm a subscriber. You get a relatively good rate if you're also a Prime member, and I happen to like it. It just works really well.
So I just cut off my Apple Music, and now I'm like, oh my God, I have to listen to Pandora or something where I have to listen to ads.
So, okay, my thing with Pandora, and I'll keep this brief. I'm really not good at keeping shit brief, but I will try. With Pandora, it played like the same songs over and over and over and over again. I noticed.
It does.
I like Deezer because if you like music from different genres, like all over the place, like I like rock, indie, metal, stuff like that, I can like thumbs up those songs on Deezer, and then I can shuffle like what's called flow, which is infinite, and it'll pull songs off of all of the different genres in one playlist. So I can listen to like a super hardcore metal song and then like a really, really chill indie song right next to it.
That's pretty cool.
I couldn't find that with other ones, so that's just my pitch. Deezer is not.
Deezer, there's an interesting. I mean, Jen, you were interested in the fact that the labels own a piece of Spotify. It so happens that Len Blavatnik, a multi-billionaire Russian who owns most of Warner, owns most of Deezer.
Oh, interesting. So you're a Russian.
It's all
a Russian spy.
Very much tied together.
I wish I could do a good Russian accent.
I do have. I have to say something about your dog because I creeped your Instagram before we met you. Can you tell us your dog's name? It's the best name in the world. I was like, that's awesome.
My dog is a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, brown and white, and his name is Dow Jones.
I love
so cute. So cute.
Now, mind you, he's really Dow Jones II because my wife had a dog when her father was working in Wall Street called Dow Jones.
Okay, I was gonna ask, like, how did that come about?
So now you got to get a cat named NASDAQ.
Well, what really made us laugh is when we lived in our old apartment, we were out on the street, and there's some, dogs are saying hello to each other. And what's your dog's name? Merrill Lynch.
That's awesome. So, I also saw beach pictures. So I was like, what beach are you on? Is that like, were you on vacation or is that your house?
No, I don't have a house. Every year we try to go out of the city over the summer because it gets kind of tough in the city. For many years, we went to Fire Island and rented a house for a long time in Fair Harbor. I love Fire Island. There's no cars. There's only bicycles and walking. So it's really great.
That's nice.
It's. I bumped into a guy I worked with at Prodigy. He said, "This is really chill, isn't it?" I said, "Yeah, it's really chill."
Yeah, don't tell anybody about it.
Right. I mean, there's plenty of different towns, but all across Fire Island there are no cars, so it's really special. And then we rented in the Hamptons, and so we go to the beach there. But we really do I like the beach.
I love the beach. My dad never took us anywhere that was like cold. We never went skiing or anything. It was always a beach vacation. So now I live in Texas. So I'm like, no cold for me. I'm good.
Yeah. No cold. I'm a Texan as well. And cold is, nope. I don't like it. I don't like it. Go ahead, Jen.
I know. Let me talk. Jesus.
Me and Josh used to do that every episode too.
So I would say, like, I don't know. My question is like, what's the most thing you're passionate about, I guess, in your industry at the moment? Is there something that just you're really
I'm really enjoying the film work. For me, it's relatively new. I've been doing this for over 40 years. So I started doing film maybe about 10 or 11 years ago.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
So, it's getting good. I mean, the Liam Neeson thing is good. And I'm representing a company that's producing a picture that's budgeted at $120 million, and they have other pictures that are going. So, I mean, I'm getting good stuff. So I'm having a good time. I have a picture actually coming out tomorrow with Anthony Hopkins. I was the counsel. I think I'm co-producer on the picture.
Oh, wow.
It stars Anthony Hopkins, Anson Mount, and Abby Cornish. It's a noir thriller, and it's called The Virtuoso. It'll be in 100 theaters around the country.
Holy shit. Okay, well, one thing that's really cool, because you say tomorrow, and we're recording this, so by the time this comes out, it'll be here. So
yeah, so it gets released on Friday. Let's put it that way.
So is it actually going into theaters? Or are y'all going through streams?
No, 100 theaters across the country and more. It's from Lionsgate, and then it's a short theatrical run, admittedly, but then it'll start to be available, I guess, on pay services.
yeah, wonderful. Okay,
You did
I like
another
that.
movie called oh my god, why did I forget it? The other movie, it was about addiction.
Snow Babies.
Yeah, Snow Babies.
I wanted to know a little bit about, I mean, I'm gonna go watch it obviously, but
You have to watch that movie. It's an extremely low budget movie, but it is incredibly compelling. And it's a great story about kids who get caught up in addiction in high school. And it's,
wow.
it's the pretty white girls who get caught up in it.
Mhm.
And it's extremely well done. It's amazing what they got for the budget they spent. So I'm a co-producer on that too. But
was that because you knew somebody, or was it like how did that come about?
I get calls all day long. I need help doing this. I need help doing that. So
It's amazing.
depends on how it works. I mean, I do have some online presence. I do post on LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook.
Sure.
With
I found your
regard to the stuff I do. And if you went back a few years, you would see my rants against Trump. But
You did it before it was trendy.
well, I will tell you the truth. When he was running, I was interviewed by CBS for about 10 minutes, and they put a clip up on the CBS Evening News about how Trump was using music when the bands didn't want him to use it. So my quote was something like, "It's perfectly legal, but it's really offensive." So.
Oh, are you talking about when he would go to his rallies and stuff and have the?
Yeah, I think at the convention he was using Queen, "We Are the Champions."
Yeah.
And he would walk out, and Queen said, "Stop using our music. We don't want you to do it." But the fact, it's a little complicated, but basically he was legally in the right, but morally in the wrong. So.
Right, that makes sense. So
Man, it sucks that you can't stop somebody though from like using your.
I know, because then the average person would be like, "Oh, Queen must be into Trump or whatever," and they're like,
Right.
"No, dude, we're not." I could see that being a headache for them.
That's what it was. And there were lots of bands that told him not to, but he just ignored them because he had the legal right. But that's an indication of the nature of his personality, right?
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I actually did have a question. So if a certain individual in 2008 downloaded a shitload of music off of Limewire for free, would that certain individual be okay to admit that in the year 2021 if they don't do it anymore?
You mean like I admit that I used to smoke pot when I was in college?
Or
Yes.
but you didn't inhale.
Yes.
Oh, no, I inhaled.
Who doesn't inhale? I mean, come on.
Not only did I inhale, I used to deal. So,
Oh my God, really? I can't see that, but I love it.
the short answer to your question is the download itself, they can't do anything about because it's past the statute of limitations. But if you distribute it today, you'd be in big trouble.
Okay, so I used to download a lot of music off of LimeWire.
It was you? You were talking about you?
Never.
It was everyone. Like, okay, I was born in 1990, and then whenever I was 16, 17, 06, 07, stuff like that, dude, it was like the whole thing. And for some reason, I don't know why, but I thought that I was the only one. I don't know why I had that mentality.
You were a very young man. That's why.
Yeah, I was like, I'm a badass. I'm downloading music. Yeah.
Because the world begins and ends at your nose. That's why.
Yeah. And my mom, she was like, is what you're doing legal? And I was like, well, yeah, because I don't remember what bullshit reason I gave, but it was something like, well, yeah, because I didn't put it on the site. It's already on the site. So I'm just taking it off the site. And she's like, oh, okay. And like, that was it. And then later she's like, do you think you could burn me a CD? Sure. That was a long time ago. And it was,
It was a fight in my house. My kids were old enough to know how to download and also old enough to know that that's how Daddy made his living. So
You're like,
That's
unless you want to be
amazing.
paying me your allowance for the rest of your life, you better stop that shit.
It was a tough time. I mean, really. I mean, the more that Napster and all those LimeWire and all those guys would steal, the less they'd be available to hire lawyers. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, when I didn't think a whole lot of it, obviously. And then when I was a senior, so it was 2009, was the last time I did it. And I remember the last time I did it because I was doing it and I got this pop-up on my browser and it said like cease and desist. And it was like this legal jargon. I'm like, okay, I'm done. No more. And I quit. I never
You
did
know
it
who I
again.
am.
Well, that worked. I mean, you have to remember the record industry, the RIAA, filed thousands of lawsuits against users like you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got
Thousands.
lucky, Nick, because you could be in jail right now, dude.
No, not jail. He just
God, Jen. They
Come
used
on,
the
you were just
guillotine.
so
The
wrong with it,
guillotine.
Mark. He would have.
He got a few $1,000s poorer. That's all.
Which,
How much?
Oh my God. A few $1,000.
The case is settled for like $3,000 to $10,000, unless they didn't, and then they fought on it. So.
I mean,
I like I don't know how familiar you are with the show South Park, but they have an episode about stealing music off the internet. And they were like, the cops are looking at the kids and they're like, you downloaded Judas Priest? That's hard time you're looking at. It was just like so dramatic over.
South Park is great. Those
Yeah,
guys
I
are geniuses.
love them.
they really are. Well, I guess I don't want to I know you're really, really busy right now. And so we appreciate you taking the time that you have taken with us. But Josh always asks, so I'll ask because now I'm more important than him now. He always asks, do you have any leaving thoughts, that you'd like to leave our audience with, or I don't know, some wise advice, a message?
Speech. No.
Yeah, we're like, ah.
How about this? If someone hands you a contract, don't sign it until you have a lawyer look at it.
Yes, that's amazing.
I mean,
advice.
I can't tell you how many times it happens. And if you're going to go record some music and your friend's going to be the producer, don't do it unless you have a contract first, because it actually happens that when you do that, even if you pay the guy, there's a pretty good argument that he owns your music.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
So I put my kids through college on that issue. So it's, I mean, honestly, the music business in particular is laden with challenges and issues. You have to be really careful. It's a lot of fun and you can have a blast once you learn how it works.
Yeah.
But
Right.
until you learn how it works, you're guaranteed to make mistakes that will cost you.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah.
Which is super important because I feel like everybody nowadays is putting out some kind of content.
Oh, yeah. Well, and in the music business, the other thing that people get all hung up about is how much of the song they own. So if the three of us write a song and I wrote most of the music and you guys
I'll
wrote
start.
most of the lyrics, we could divide it any way we want. We can divide it in thirds. I could take half. Jen could take half. However we want to do it is perfectly lawful. But the key is to get that done immediately.
Yeah.
With no question, because that's how I put my other kid through college.
So keep doing it, people. I mean, he doesn't.
Yeah, right. You need to make sure you hire Mark.
No, he said they don't call me anymore. He's moved on. Okay.
That's true.
He's done.
he's
And
moved on.
everybody go check out his movie, The Virtuoso, in theaters, right? You said tomorrow. So that'll be the 30th?
The 30th, April 30th, Friday.
Awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to
I
do
know.
that for a date night, I think.
Right. And Anthony Hopkins just won the Oscar last weekend. So
I know, that's amazing. I was just thinking that when you mentioned his name.
I didn't
Well,
watch.
if you haven't, go see The Virtuoso first because it helps me. But the other movie, The Father, is fantastic. So
Awesome.
Okay.
Man.
Perfect.
We are
Well-
so glad that you were able to hang out with us for a little while.
Yes.
It means a lot.
I
Yes.
hope I didn't bore everybody in the beginning.
Oh, no. You're fine.
No.
Hey, when you have more time and people aren't calling you, you just come back and we'll, talk for hours and hours.
Bring some whiskey and drink and
We'll have a drinking game. No, but yes.
I got to go back
really-
to my friend's expert witness thing. He doesn't want me to do it drunk. So,
Yeah, don't do that. Well, thank you again for spending time with us. And
sure.
I hope everybody has a great day. Keep it mindless, guys. and mindful a little bit.
Thank you for listening to the Mindless Morning Show. We appreciate you picking us out of the many great podcasts out there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell to get notified whenever we release a new episode or bonus content. Now go enjoy the rest of your mindless day.